on a step mill. We're doing this live and direct following Florida State's loss to Georgia Tech, an upset by Georgia Tech, their first top 10 win since the last time that they beat Florida State. And that game absolutely lived up to its billing. Already, I am giddy about what this might mean for Georgia Tech. I'm giddy about what this might mean for the ACC, because we got a new player that is absolutely thrown down a marker as a contender for that championship. Meanwhile, we're talking about an offensive line that absolutely mauled, that absolutely mashed on a Florida State defensive line that was supposed to be, is one of the most talented in the entire country. Brent Key's got to feel great about this, man. It's a program that rushed for 200 plus yards on the ground last year, 5.4 yards per carry. Against Florida State today, 190 yards on the ground, 5.3 yards per carry. They look like the more physical team. They look like they had heard, oh yeah, y'all got Patrick Payton? Cool. We got 210 combined starts over here. Let's get it. Let's go. Very excited, very proud of what they've been able to accomplish. And we'll talk more about that. But the reason that I wanted to do this is this right here, man. I wanted to be able to talk with you for a little while and see how this goes. I think that we're going to find out a bit about us throughout this season as we push toward 100,000 subscribers on the channel. By the way, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Costs you nothing, only helps me get closer to that national championship. So throw your questions into the comments or into the chat, and we'll use that like we do a call-in show for the most part. And there's a couple of things that I think I want to talk about. But more than that, I think, my goodness, this is going to set us up for something really special, I hope, with this 12-team playoff. Like, you've seen all of the talk around what the 12-team playoff is going to be like, what these automatic qualifying spots are going to be for the Power Four, to say nothing the G5 spot, and who can sneak in for the first time that has never snuck in. All of these things are coming into play, and Georgia Tech has already given themselves an opportunity to show a college football playoff selection committee in the first week of November. Remember when we beat Florida State on a neutral site in week 0? If they are a 1-loss or 2-loss team, they should expect to be considered for a spot in the college football playoff. We just did not think that the Rambling Wreck was going to be able to get this win. I didn't think they were going to lose by double digits. That said, Florida State had not lost a game that they were favored by double digits in 15 opportunities. Right now, we got Georgia. You're Florida State. This sucks because you lost to Georgia in the Orange Bowl, 63-3, and now you lost to Georgia Tech in a kickoff classic in 2024, which means that you lost to both of the large public universities in the state of Georgia your last 2 outings. Maybe y'all don't want to play anybody from the state of Georgia for the foreseeable future. I think that's going to be one to watch for me. I'm going to see what Florida State looks like after this. I don't think that the national attention that they've been getting is going to stick. I think Clemson has an opportunity now to throw down an even more of a marker for that conference if they can somehow upset Georgia. Big if. But we thought the Georgia Tech upset would have been a big if for Florida State. I also was looking at Mike Norvell going, why don't you push the ball down the field? Why don't you try to get Malik Benson on one-on-one opportunities and say, my guy's better than your guy, to try to go get yourself an explosive play, right? To try to go get yourself an easy 6. Because when you got a Georgia Tech squad that can run down the field 8 minutes, 24 seconds on you without stopping, you don't have a choice. You can't afford to dink and dime. And they did. They go for it on 4th and 8. They go for it on 4th and 7. They tie it up at 21, but they give the ball back to a Georgia Tech team that just wanted to get into field goal range and give themselves an opportunity to win this thing as the clock expires. I'm really, really interested to see what else they can do, because an offensive line that leads a football team is a football team that can win a lot of football games. And it feels like Brent Key has built a program around an offensive line that says, no, we run this. We got it. We know that we got a good tailback. We know that we've got a great quarterback. Let's see if we can't maul people. There is nothing more torturous than a defense that cannot stop the run. And there is nothing more glorious than an offensive line that just exists to maul. That is what I saw from Georgia Tech. And if you are playing defense at Florida State, there's just so little you can take away from this that was good. Because you're like, did we stop the pass? Sorta. But that's not really what they wanted to do. They wanted to run on you, and they did for damn near 200 yards at 5 yards a clip. There was nothing you could do about it. That's a problem. That's got to get figured out. You're not going to run through the ACC at all if you keep doing that sort of stuff. I think we'll get there, right? We'll figure out more about Florida State. I think they're going to win a bunch of football games, but losing this one was not on the schedule. Like when we print out our schedules and we put W or L next to those games, I think a lot of us put W next to this one for Florida State, including Florida State fans. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech's going, wait a second. We might be good. A bunch of engineers providing solutions and becoming a problem. My goodness. Let's see what we have over here in the chat. Let's see if there's anything I can get going on over here. If this is your first opportunity to catch me doing a live chat, congratulations. I have not done this in the better part of 5-6 years, right? And we got started doing this September 10th, 2017. It's not really a thing that I have done in the past, but that was because I would do a lot of radio, 2 hours of radio. I host by myself in Tulsa, and then I would do the show here at Fox, and mostly just don't have the time or the bandwidth. But this was an opportunity that I thought might be cool for many of us to get in here and see what's going on. Let me see. Florida State, look, who is this? This is Chris Turner. Also, using your real name, good way for me to cite you. I don't do burner accounts. Burner accounts are for cowards. Florida State looked like LSU last year. Never underestimate your opponent. There's something to that, right? If this is indicative more of Florida State not being great on defense than it is Georgia Tech being great on offense, we'll see, right? Because LSU was fire on offense last year. Best scoring offense in the country, Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, one of the best coordinators in the country, Mike Denbrock, couldn't stop anybody. And I don't think that's the case with Georgia Tech. I think they're a better run football team than most teams they're going to face all year for Florida State. Like Notre Dame will probably give you some problems being able to run the ball, but if you're giving up 190 on the ground, you're not going to win a bunch of football games. Let's see what else you got in here. Let me see. Miles Grant says, why does DJ look good at some games and not good in some games? I think if the DC has a good game plan, DJ is don't cuss on the channel. Kids watch the channel. Kids read the chat. Don't even allude to it. I'll get your point. But the question you're asking is fundamental to who I've always wanted DJ Uiagalelei to show that he is, which is the number 2 player in the 2020 class. The number 1 player in the 2020 class is Bryce Young. He won the Heisman Trophy. He's playing in the National Football League right now. We've seen DJ Uiagalelei go from Clemson to Oregon State and now Florida State. And my thing about him is when you need to go get wins, he hasn't done that outside of a Clemson uniform. Like he did it against Boston College to come back from 18 down at half, lead him to a victory, look really good in that 2020 year when he had to play for Trevor Lawrence. But since then, I have been searching for the guy that I think is underneath there, the guy that runs away from people, that runs through people, that can throw the ball over them mountains. But what they had him doing today, dink, dump, throw it to the athletes. I get that as a game plan. But at one point, I looked around and I said, when is Mike Norvell going to put this in the hands of his 5-star quarterback and go win it? And it looked like they were getting closer to that toward the end in crunch time when they were going for it on 4th and 7, 4th and 8, and you're getting these one-on-one matchups that he's got to nail. I thought you should do more of that. Just give him more control. Let him go out there and execute the offense as best he can. So I think there's something like that that we could take away from it. I don't think it's necessarily a defensive coordinator having a bead on DJ. I think it's more about what the offense will allow and what he can do within the offense. I think we're still waiting on an offensive coordinator that can really bring the most out of him rather than a defensive coordinator that just knows how to stop him.